making me laugh right now.
This stuff,
Give me the giggles.
it's absolutely insane. All of this pride stuff. What is the deadliest of the 7 deadly sins?
What?
It's pride.
Yeah, but that could be just a fucking coincidence, dude. Words have 2 definitions nowadays, multiple meanings.
Oh, yeah. Well, do you know why it's being made into a public spectacle?
Why?
Because the judgment against those who actually go out and publicly declare that their sin is some kind of a positive thing, you do not want to be in that group.
I mean, if you look at it from the meaning of what my sexuality is versus the meaning of, I guess you could say the original definition of it, where it's like, I'm too prideful to do this. You think of it, you have this cocky attitude, this stubbornness, that you're the shit.
The way I like to describe pride is that a faithful person who has an exceptional capacity in something says, I was gifted that and I'm thankful. These people, they say, this is what I am, and it's all because of me, and they're not thankful for shit.
I think they say this is what I am and I'm thankful, and they just want to be accepted for it. There's like 2 definitions of the word pride.
No, people who
that's my opinion.
Do you know what? You know what people who want to be accepted do? They go and interact with other people, and they are accepting of how successful they are with other people.
Yeah.
They don't gin up hatred for people who do not like them and then lead bands of people in public to attack them and everything about life that they hold dear.
I think hatred.
Do you see that bifurcation?
I see what you're saying, but hatred was generated on both sides, though. They generate hatred towards everyone else, and other people also generated
Let's
hatred
take it straight back to the beginning.
That's what everyone
Let's
does
take
with
it straight.
relationships.
No, absolutely not. Holy shit. You want to tell me if there's an equivalence here. People go to an abortion clinic with a sign, or even in some case, I saw one story that was absolutely freaking heartbreaking. A woman who just would stand outside of the clinic and just approach all of the young women going in and try to engage with them in an attempt to dissuade them from going in and having an abortion.
Okay, so I want to know how she would engage with them. Some do it in a more peaceful manner than others.
This woman she's the little old lady in the front row at church.
I believe it, yeah.
Right?
And she just wants to talk to you.
Absolutely.
She's not out there throwing shit and
absolutely
yelling shit,
meek.
which some crazy motherfuckers do.
And she's engaging in it to save the life of the unborn child that's walking past her, because she knows what's going to happen when they go in. Now, I understand there are people who have attacked and bombed abortion clinics, but you're never going to find that little old lady endorsing that. Switch the roles around, and it's completely inverted. You've got people minding their own freaking business, running a nonprofit that's actually there to help the young women decide not to have an abortion. You know how they always say, well, if you're going to ban abortion, why don't you care? You don't give a shit about the kids when they're born. What are you talking about? There are pro-life supporters all over the place with the little organizations that do exactly that. It's so disingenuous. But then the kicker is that big inversion that I was talking about. You're hard pressed to find anybody in the leadership of this absolute right to abortion on demand for any reason. You are not going to find a single one of them condemning the fire bombings of these little pro-life offices. Not a single one. You'll find some of their political face people out in the media saying, well, we don't want anybody firebombing anything, but they almost always immediately qualify that violence with the hatred of those pro-life people. It's like there's no hatred. There's none.
It's like they use the argument, you hate me more than I hate you, therefore
I'm justified.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because you hate me more.
It's absolutely demented.
It's a good argument to use. if you want to win. Let's see, Ginger Jesus, but they aren't the ones they are talking about. LOL, they are talking about the anti-abortion people who don't do anything aside from bitch about abortion.
Well, you don't need to actively be doing anything to be correct. Just like what we started with. Do living things come from non-living things? No. The only thing that we observe with our eyeballs are living things giving birth or splitting into more living things. You've got the single cell reproduction thing where they just make a copy of their nucleus and the cell splits.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got sexually reproducing animals like mammals, where you have the meeting of two, reproductive cells like a sperm and an egg, and the new genetic code for that species comes together, and then that first cell starts to divide the same way. Those cells, they become specialized, and they turn into hands and eyeballs and a brain and a circulatory system and blood and bones and genitals. And it's all there to be seen very quickly. Whether or not you can see it is irrelevant, because there's no point in the sequence where there's no life. A born baby is only the end of a sequence that is life continuing. There's no massive cells to be thrown away because it's not a person. No, it's a person when the two cells come together. And the Bible puts that beautifully too. I knew you before you were anything.
Are you willing to let the Bible come into your life when you don't believe in God or have any religion? And at what point are you willing to end that life and be okay with it to a degree? Couple weeks, 4 weeks, 9 weeks. I think that's a question that everyone has a different answer to nowadays. Just about, at least. I know I have a different one from Phil. For sure.
I just think that today, if you're an actual inquisitive, like a person who really wants to know about all of the aspects, all of the information that's available on these topics, you gotta go and look for them. And if you find them, you're gonna get new ways of seeing things that you would have never imagined before. I mean, if you go and find some of the information on, how do you explain the first cell in the evolution argument? That's some of the most illuminating material that you can ever go looking for, because it's stark. It's a stark contrast. And when the people that understand that life did not generate itself, like Aquinas, eloquently points out, the way that the people who support this spontaneous generation view, they have nowhere to go when you actually ask them to explain anything.